200.
Far out. Well, how long did it take you to get back on your feet then?
Nearly 12 months.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I was 3.5 months in hospital. They put me in a full plaster cast from chest to ankle, and I was in another 6 weeks like that. I was allowed to go home, but I had to be serviced all the time and that, in the correct way. And then I had to go back into hospital for another 2 weeks while they cut the plaster cast off and taught me to walk with crutches.
Jeez.
So that was sort of getting on towards 6 months.
Yeah.
And I was another 6 months before I really could get about. My leg was all withered and everything.
And let me guess, in that time, your mind slowed down. You'd been racing and working flat stick, yeah?
No.
And then all of a sudden you're out and you're in a hospital bed and you really think about your life a bit. You know, you and Anne and having
really.
kids, perhaps. No? Didn't change your...
No. Kathy came by accident. I got home and Anne got pregnant while I was still in the plaster cast. And how we achieved that is our story, and it's staying our story. Right?
Just draw me a picture. Where is
Yeah. And Anne hadn't got back on the pill.
That's legendary. Okay.
Yeah. So Kathy came along.
Yep.
So Kathy came into life by accident.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to be said right now that Kathy and John Kelly, they've been promoting Archerfield Speedway, a massive success. You know what I mean? Can you believe it? And all these years later, that and you're on the grader over there all the time. You know, I sort of want to.
We got back into Speedway through Kathy when she got to about 17. She started, Dad, I want to drive a sprint car, and I said, don't be stupid. Girls don't drive sprint cars. Mm-hmm. And she said to me, yes, they do, Dad. Melinda Dumsey in Sydney drives a sprint car, and she drives it very good.
Yep.
Righto. So she had me. So I went up to exhibition ground and saw Bob Kelly at the start of a season. Yep. And I said to Bob, I got a little girl here that thinks she wants to drive sprint cars. Show her the rough end of it, Bob. Will you take her on crew for 12 months?
Right.
And she worked 12 months on Bob's crew. And Bob wanted to know, did she want to stay on the crew permanently? I said, no, she's going racing now. She served her apprenticeship. And she passed her uni in Bachelor of Business, and she's now a fully chartered accountant as well. She's not just a Speedway promoter, she's a fully qualified
See, I can't even say that. I haven't even crewed for anyone for a year. You know what I mean?
Well, she did a full 12 months before I bought the car.
Yep. And I remember seeing Kathy when I started racing. Kathy was still racing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And John and Bob Kelly and you.
Yeah.
I think we were all in one race together.
I raced against you one time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
a couple of times.
But I remember seeing, you know, all your daughters are beautiful. I don't know how you did it. You know, but Kathy
I married
Kelly,
my best mate. She was pretty gorgeous.
I
got to get that in, mate.
I guess that
girl. We've been married 50 years. I wasn't going out. We were knocking around together for about 5 years before we got married.
Right, so friends,
not living together or anything.
Yep.
I lived at home, she lived at home,
yep.
And we were just real good mates. And I got her into driving stock cars and then sedan cars,
right?
Much to her mother's displeasure. Yep. Her mother tried to break us up several times, but we survived all that. We got married, and we've been married for 50 years.
Brilliant.
And she's been the greatest stalwart of all times, mate. Like you said, I wasn't prepared to slow down when I got smashed up. I'm all the time thinking, you know, what's next? And I was going to go back to racing. But the problem was that through that accident, Anne's mother had a full-on stroke. She was up at the track at the time when it happened. And about a month after it happened, she had a full-on stroke. And then only a couple of months after that, my mum had a heart attack and we nearly lost her. And it was all through the pressure of that accident that I had. So I didn't race then for nearly 15 years.
Okay.
And it was only that Kathy wanted to race that we got the car, and I said to Ann, I raced against George Tatnall in the stock cars back in the 60s down at the showground. George and Joe Tatnall, great guys.
Yes.
Race against both of them. And anyway, George was running at Toowoomba one night, and I said to Ann, if George doesn't move off the pole up onto the high line, he's not going to win this. Next thing, he moved onto the high line, and then within 4 laps, he went to the lead and he won it. And I said to Ann, then if there's never anything else I do in this life, I want to get into one of those cars and drive it before I finish. So when we bought the car, the deal was, while we're teaching Kathy to drive, I drove. Right. So I got another 3 years in from when I was 45.
Yeah. And they were, okay, so that was the mid-90s?
No, early 90s.
Early 90s, okay. Yeah, was Winfield still around at that stage?
Yes.
Winfield sponsorship.
Winfield was big time.
The golden era, hey? Yeah. The car still would have had about
the Kellys
600 horsepower, 650 horsepower?
No, we were pulling 780 horsepower.
Right, yeah, because the same motors.
But the first car I bought was the ex-Jimmy Sills car that's had the track record for Archerville for years and years, and it was an iron block with aluminium heads.
Yep, I think I remember.
But it was pulling out 780 horsepower.
Do you remember?
Then they all started getting the aluminium motors and pushing them up around the 840 horsepower.
Right, and they were so light.
Yeah,
you just
zip
around.
And that's when Kathy got really good. When we finally got rid of the iron motor.
Right.
When I stopped driving, we focused just on Kathy, and we got rid of the iron motor and bought a full aluminium motor. And she really showed people how to use it.
Yeah. I remember reading Speedway Racing News where it was like David Tapp was taunting the Kelly gang, John, Kathy and Bob to bring the Kelly gang to Sydney, to Parramatta Speedway, and we'll show, you're always up there winning races. Can you come down? Kathy won it. Did she not? Yeah, she won every heat. And then
do you know
it was
that Kathy and John are the only people in the world to run in a husband and wife match race.
Right.
They ran against Max and Melinda Zumsey at Parramatta Speedway.
Wow.
And they won it.
Did they?
Yeah. Kath and John came out the outright winners. But
have you ever raced at that track, Parramatta Speedway?
No, never at Parramatta.
It's so quick, mate.
Yeah.
It's not the fastest, but there's something about
not
having a wall there that makes it feel fast.
I used to love the Bundaberg track.
Oh, yeah, I raced there.
Yeah.
The long straights and
real
me
tight
too, actually.
Corners, eh?
Me too. I only raced there once or twice.
I loved it.
And it was a dusty sort of deal.
I loved it. We had a lot of good races there.
Yeah, you could really feel the motor. Yeah. Getting to a certain point.
The worst one was the Gladstone Showground. Yeah. You felt like you were on a merry-go-round. You didn't know where the hell you were and when it was going to stop.
Yeah. Hey, did you ever get to Darwin?
No.
Oh, that's a good track.
We went to Darwin to watch the Australian titles years later.
Okay.
That last time they had the Australian sprint car titles at Darwin, me and Ann went up and spent a lot of time there. Right. It's a good track. Yeah. I would have loved to have raced on it.
Yeah, it is a good track. Yeah. That's where I had my first feature race win.
But we raced in the 60s. We raced like at Ipswich Showgrounds. Right. They used to run there of a Friday night.
Wow.
And there was a mile track called Arthur Park out on Bow Desert Road.
Right.
Going out towards Bow Desert.
Okay, mile.
Yeah, a mile track. And, mate, they brought some midget speed cars up from Sydney, and they had some of the local fellas. You never seen anything like it, the midget speed cars on a mile track.
Just running out of gears.
It was awesome. Wow. That was one of the best sights ever.
Oh, mate, put it there. Time's up. I hope you had a good time. Yeah. I love hearing everything you always say.
Yeah.
And I'll put it in the... Yeah. Anyway, good on you, mate. Have a great day.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, told ya. Thanks to Coolangatta for this episode. We've had a great time today. Thanks, Jimmy Maxwell, for coming in, taking the chance to do something as weird as sit opposite me in this room in Burleigh and yap on about things. So, Thanks to you, mate. And we all look forward to seeing you at Cooly Rocks On again. And here's to you, champion. Yes. I want to thank everyone worldwide for listening to this show. Everyone from Ashburn, USA. From Brixton in the UK. From Tokyo, Japan. And all the other countries. But yeah, thanks once again. We've got a great show coming up after this one, so tune in. Please subscribe, rate and review on iTunes. That's what you're supposed to do. Keep me up the top. All right, thanks.